just dying to hear y'all's excuse for this one. I'm just dying to hear y'all's excuse for this one. All y'all who were running your mouth in my comment section all week about how Democrats are the only thing standing between us and fascism, and you democracy, how dare you say you don't want to vote for Biden? Democrats are here to protect. Well, then if Joe Biden is such a great choice, why not have the primary? Why not have the primary? I mean, what could it hurt? I'm just curious what the reasoning for this is. It's not like the primary is any danger to Biden, right? Like, it's not like at the end of the day, if he got enough votes, they wouldn't make him the Democrat nominee, right? So what's the harm? I'm just curious how this is preserving democracy, not giving people a choice on who they want to represent them. That's just interesting to me.
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So, guys, it is no secret, right? The Democrats, everything they accuse other people of doing, this has always been the case. They are actually doing themselves. And unfortunately, the most recent example is the destruction of the democratic process. Now, the Democrats, they'll tell you over and over again, pound you over the head with it until you believe it, that a vote for Republicans is a vote to end democracy. And you'd think that the irony and the just complete ridiculousness of that statement would be enough to wake most people up, but it's not. People are still so unaware. They're so unaware that the Democratic Party of Florida, they thought they could manipulate the primary vote and no one would care or no one would notice. Now, Democrat voters, they are so disenfranchised and so disappointed in Joe Biden that the protectors of democracy in the Democratic Party, they've decided to make the choice for those people. They don't believe that the Democrat voters in Florida can be trusted to make a correct decision. Whoever gets to decide it's correct decides it's correct. So, you know, even though there are literally multiple challengers on the Democratic ticket, all kinds of people are running for Democrat to be president as a Democrat. Biden wins Florida by default, and people are pissed. But, you know, what did they expect? You know, I mean, this is the third consecutive primary season that the Democrats are attempting to rig. They screwed Bernie twice, and now they're screwing literally everyone else. And still the mushy-brained liberals, they believe that the GOP is the party of authoritarianism and voter suppression. It's freaking amazing stuff. When you look at the big picture, it's almost unbelievable.
And this is definitely not about my naturalized citizen issue. This is about all three of us being excluded in a way that was absurd, ridiculous, counterproductive, done obviously in secret, obviously to help the incumbent Joe Biden, and needs to be reversed. So we have sent in a letter saying that they should include our names in the list that they are giving to the Secretary of State today. We'll of course see how that plays out, and we give them every opportunity to do the right thing, and we'd be thrilled if they did the right thing. And we believe in democracy. We believe in letting the Democratic voters decide. And the number one problem with what the Florida Democratic Party is doing is not how it affects me, Marianne, and Dean. It's how it affects the Florida Democratic voters. They are robbing them of their voice. They're saying that democracy is not important, that you should not participate in the process, and we don't care what you think. We don't care if you support the incumbent, don't support the incumbent, whether you want to do a vote for one of the other candidates that you find to be compelling, a candidate that is closer to your point of view, a candidate that you think has a better chance of winning, etc. We are just going to be authoritarian, and we're going to do this in the dark of night. And their excuses, of course, have been comical. And all three of us are perfectly aware of the rules in every other state. And we have asked repeatedly the state of Florida through our campaigns what the rules are here so that we could abide by them. They never returned our calls or our emails to any of the campaigns. And then the day before the deadline, they say, oh, by the way, we made this decision. Not only did we make this decision, we made it a month ago, but we never let any of you guys know. Come on. There's no way in the world to interpret that in any way other than bad intent.
Hey everybody, what happened in Florida yesterday is a tragedy and a travesty. The Florida Democratic Party decided, just a handful of people, decided to disenfranchise millions of Democratic voters in Florida by saying we're not going to have a presidential primary. I'm running for president. There are others running for president as Democrats. And this is the kind of stuff that happens in Tehran, not in Tallahassee. We've got to do something about this. I've been a lifelong Democrat, you know that, supported our party since I was in my 20s, been a member of Congress for 3 terms, and was a member of House Democratic leadership. I've never seen something so absurd, so disenfranchising, and so suppressive of Democratic voters.
Yeah, so the candidates, they're not happy. And, you know, they have reason to not be happy. Some of them are literally on the leading edge of convincing these poor, gullible people that Republicans will suppress their vote and steal their country. So imagine it's got to be at least a little bit embarrassing that their own party is literally doing exactly that to them. It's happening to them. But anyway, you know, they're not even the ones that are most upset. The people who just voted for Biden by default, they're the most pissed off.
So when the party decides, we are going to do this, that's it. It's over.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And it's enabled by, I mean, they have really pushed this idea that to save democracy, we have to end democracy, basically. Like, we can't afford to have democracy because we have to beat Donald Trump. And if we had a real primary process, that would be a disaster. And that's, of course, complete bullshit. And it's insane on its face. Like, to save democracy, we have to kill democracy. We can't have democracy. It's absurd. And it really reveals that they actually don't believe in democracy. They actually don't have faith in the people to be able to evaluate choices responsibly and come to a decision that they believe is in their best interest. It's really incredible to have it so brazen, especially when, I mean, at this point, like, Joe Biden is not in any real danger. You know, Marianne is, the last poll I saw had like Marianne at 8 and Dean Phillips at 4, and they didn't include Cenk in the poll, right? Joe Biden has a huge lead on them. What are they so terrified of that they have to use these incredibly heavy-handed authoritarian tactics?
They are afraid of anything getting a little bit of air and then spiraling out of control because they see the other polls where it's like 70% of the country doesn't want Joe Biden to run again. A majority of Democrats think he's too old to get another term. They see those polls and they're like, all right, let's take no chances whatsoever. That's the idea.
In spite of the polls that show him with a lead.
So God forbid in one of these early states you get a Marianne Williamson win or a Dean Phillips win or whatever, you know, they're flipping out and they don't want that to spiral out of control. So I think that's where it stems from. But look, I forget who said this, but I heard somebody make this argument recently. They're like, okay, you want to act like this? Just change the name of your party. The idea to call it the Democratic Party when you are explicitly being anti-democratic.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, so you guys might not recognize that guy. That is a guy named Cal Kalinske, super left, very left commentator. And he's someone that has literally been doing his part, doing more harm than just about anyone when it comes to spreading the lies that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, which it's sad. It's sad to see people that actually know the truth. This guy knows the truth, but they're just out there lying for profit. You know, he knows what the DNC has done. Election after election after election, the DNC has done the same thing. He knows the manipulations that they use because he's part of it. You know, Bernie was his guy, and he knows what they did to Bernie. And now he wants to act shocked, which, you know, no one who knows this guy or knows what's going on is buying that any of these people are shocked. It's sad. And, you know, here's what they actually did in Florida, just so you guys know. Every state has got a deadline for nominating and listing eligible candidates for their party. Florida, the deadline is this week. I think it's actually tomorrow. But the Democratic Party of Florida submitted their finalized list over a month ago, and only Biden was on it. So here's what we have. We have a party that pretends to be the last hope for democracy. And so far, you know, they've committed to holding no primary debates. And now they're working state by state to manipulate the results to whatever they want it to be. All while the sad, mushy brain victims that literally believe in them. These liberals, these aren't bad people. They literally believe these people. They believe in these people. And they still believe that voting for these people, that these people who are literally yanking democracy right from under them, they believe they're the only way to save democracy. And apparently the only way to save democracy is to suspend it, if not totally end it. You can't make this stuff up, man. I wish it were made up, but it's not. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. And if you haven't already, help us to continue to grow. Like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.